Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion, located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street, in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. And by Pete's Pizza, celebrating 40 years serving the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area. Pete's Pizza. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about finding pizza. If you're hungry, visit petespizzaniagara.ca. Celebrating 5 years. This is Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Who invented the light bulb?
Great idea. That's what he said when he invented it. Hey, what happens? What happens to broken bats from baseball games? Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And for 5 years, we've scoured the internet looking for totally useless information just for you.
Plus, we will revisit a highlight from the past 5 years, dig into the mailbag, and in the news, he absolutely, positively had to get there overnight.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
Innovation, ideas. The Totally Useless Information podcast presents Inventions.
You go first. Can you give me your teaser? Are you prepared to do your teaser right away? Would you mind?
Okay, the light bulb. I know we all think Thomas Edison, but if you listen to this show, you'll know that I hate Thomas Edison, the fraud faker that he was.
Allegedly.
So who actually invented the light bulb? Well, it was in 1879, an Italiano.
Oh.
Yes, an Italian scientist named Alessandro, get ready, Volta, where we get the word volts from.
Wow.
Yes, Alessandro Volta, who was way ahead of Edison, invented what he called the arc light bulb, literally taking zinc and copper and making the same thing that Edison eventually steals from Tesla, the incandescent light bulb made with tungsten. But Alessandro used zinc and copper, which was not as durable as tungsten, but he invented that in 1879, way ahead of Edison.
What's his name?
The fraud. Thomas F. Edison.
Right.
Thomas the Faker Edison.
That's right. If that's even his real name. So I wanted you to go first with that, with your teaser, because I thought of something. Because, you know, the image, apparently the image that goes above someone's head when they have an idea, the light bulb goes on, right? We had that light bulb moment, right?
But your whole head looks like a light bulb.
Well, that's true, too, right? Now, because of environmentally friendly purposes, it's LED. But anyway, so my question is this. So before Volta invented the light bulb, right? So if someone had an idea, what happened? Because the light bulb wasn't invented yet. Did they light a candle and go, okay, hang on, I have an idea, and then they just lit a candle? Is that what they did?
Yeah. How ironic is it that they used candles to work at night to invent the light bulb?
That's right. Okay. And then before fire was invented, what did they do? Like rub two sticks together and then over somebody's head and go, hold on, I have an idea. Let's invent candles.
And there was two sticks above their head.
That's right. And before, well, anyway, we can go way back. Here's my invention topic. Here's my fact for number one. Formica. You know the Formica laminate that was really popular in the 70s. I think I still have some counters that have Formica.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the inventor, was going to dedicate it to somebody. This is Formica, but it's not. This was invented in 1912 by Daniel J. O'Connor and Herbert A. Faber while they were working at Westinghouse, resulting in a patent filing. So O'Connor and Faber originally conceived it as a substitute for mica used as electrical insulation, made of wrapped woven fabric coated with Bakelite thermosetting resin, then slit lengthwise, flattened, and cured in a press, and creating this countertop of Formica.
Wow. So as a lot of inventions like plastics and things like that, they were invented for other things before they became what they actually became.
Yep.
which is amazing. Yeah. Now, I was sitting thinking about inventions, and I took a sip from my thermal cup, these new thermal cups that everybody walks around with.
Yeah.
And my ice was, of course, still in it from the night before, which I marvel at every time I take a sip hours later that there's still the same ice cubes are in there.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to make ice for the last 2 weeks. No, no.
Yes.
But anyway, I said, who invented the thermal cup? So I had to delve in and do some research. But in 1892, which I didn't expect it to date back that far, but a guy named Sir James Dewar, a friend of Nick loves Dewars.
Right.
Okay, Sir James Dewar invented what he titled the thermal flask,
Ah.
a double walled glass flask with a vacuum wall around it. Sound familiar? When we
Yes.
were kids, we had thermoses, which were no different than the actual thermal cups that we have today, except they are made out of stainless steel versus glass and a metal outside. But it is the same exact principle invented in 1892 by Sir James Dewar.
Now, were you wearing your thermal underwear when you were reading about this thermal cup?
I was nice and cozy. And then I said to myself, could you imagine if his name was Sir James Dunter?
That's right. Or wouldn'ter or couldn'ter.
He was a real doer.
So interestingly, you said just a few moments ago, those of you who are paying attention, to totally use this information with Nick and Roy. Yes, we are 5 years into our project here, our mandate, as it were, and we really appreciate you joining us. And you said something about most of these inventions or some of the inventions are sort of accidents or they were meant for something else. A couple of my next topics have a lot to do with that sort of premise. So, for example, Post-it notes, we use them all the time, right? In 1968, scientist Dr. Spencer Silva was looking to develop an ultra-strong adhesive for 3M. Now, here's a bonus fact. You know what 3M stands for?
No.
It was formerly the Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing Company. 3M, Minnesota
3Ms.
Mining and Manufacturing. There you go. There's your bonus. So the chemistry ace ended up inventing a low-tack, reusable, pressure-sensitive glue instead. But in 1974, so maybe 7 or 8 years later or something like that, his 3M colleague Art Fry suggested it could be used to create a stickable, reusable bookmark. And of course, these Post-it notes are yellow. And it's because the team that was working on the project could only get hold of yellow scrap paper and decided to stick with that color. So now every year, 3M, which holds the trademark for the name and distinctive yellow color, sells 50 billion Post-it notes.
Oh my God, that's
Yes.
amazing. See,
Yeah.
and that's great. In the 1880s, every scientist was working on electricity. Every scientist was delving in electricity because whoever got it done right was going to be famous. But we don't think about the fact that once electricity was invented, we had to figure out how to control it vis-a-vis a plug to plug things in to make them work.
Oh.
Or what about the simplest of things, a light switch to turn the light on and off?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the 1880s, this one particular scientist, John Henry Holmes, in fact, in 1883, he invented a receptacle that could change the power that went to the incandescent light bulb. Thus, he invented the dimmer switch.
Oh, the dimmer switch, right. Oh, wow.
I was turning the lights on and off in my dining room and dimming them, and I said, who invented this damn thing?
There you go. Exactly.
His name was John Henry Holmes, and it was 1883 he invented the first dimmer switch.
No, thank you for doing that, because explaining how you got to come up with where the dimmers come from, because sometimes people will ask us, how do you come up with your information? Do you sit down and Google, use this information about whatever? Sometimes you do that, but a lot of times it's just our personal experiences. We walk around, we drive around, whatever, and then something comes to mind. So in your case, you turn your dimmer switch down.
I want people to know most of the time nothing comes to my mind.
That's right, exactly, because you have a dim view of everything. Scotchgard. Now, we've used Scotchgard to protect our fabrics and whatnot. And another accidental discovery by the 3M scientists. And, you would think 3M is such a big company, been around a long, long time. They make a lot of mistakes there, but somehow they turned it into something profitable, right? Could you imagine?
Right, exactly.
Work for 3M.
The guy put a post-it note up and said, "Let me figure out."
That's right.
He put up how to protect fabrics.
That's right. So come work for us at 3M. We really suck at everything, but boy, do we make a lot of money inventing other things. Okay, so it was an accidental discovery. Scotchgard stain and water repellent was invented by mistake by chemist Patsy Sherman in 1952 in the company lab in Minnesota. One of the 3, right? Okay. Sherman was attempting to develop a type of fluorochemical rubber that wouldn't deteriorate if exposed to jet fuel.
I used to use those in high school.
No. Yours were glow-in-the-dark rubbers. Anyway, you need to find things. During one of their experiments, the chemists split some of the liquid rubber onto an assistant's tennis shoes. Try as they might, nobody in the lab could remove the spillage that seemed to repel anything it came into contact with. This led Sherman to believe that the liquid could make an effective stain and water repellent, and after her colleague Samuel Smith, Sherman refined the repellent, which 3M launched as Scotchgard in 1956. We're celebrating 5 years, which we've told you over and over again for the past 5 years. So the traditional gift for 5 years is wood. We'll leave it at that.
And we got those gifts to give to people.
All you have to do is go to our website, nickandroy.com. Thank you for that reminder. Go to nickandroy.com. Click on where it says start recording. All you have to do is record a happy 5th anniversary, Nick and Roy. You have 30 or 60 seconds to do so. Click on that and send us a message, an anniversary message. If we choose your message and put it on the show, you'll win an authentic wooden airplane puzzle, and it's to commemorate our pilot episode 5 years ago.
Yeah, our first episode, which is called a pilot.
That's
we
right.
did a funny skit about being pilots. So if you leave us a message at nickandroy.com, click on the message button, leave us a message about our 5th anniversary. A couple of things will happen. A, we'll play it on the show, and B, you'll win a wooden airplane.
That's right. If we choose your message.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. And yes, we're absolutely thrilled that we have a brand new sponsor, Pete's Pizza.
Pete's Pizza knows the only way to make a perfect pizza is by using the freshest ingredients. Every day they roll out their own doughs to create their signature pizzas topped with only the freshest ingredients. It's amazing.
It is. For the past 40 years, since 1984, the 6 Niagara locations have been known as the small pizzerias that are big on taste and easy on the budget. With locations across St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, they're just minutes away from some of the best pizza and wings in town. They're always open late, so find a Pete's Pizza near you. Roy, where do they go?
They go to Pete's Pizza Niagara.ca. Again, Pete's Pizza Niagara.ca.
Family owned and operated, Pete's Pizza began as one location of Pleasant Avenue, St. Catharines. But over 40 years now, the original shop at 6 Pleasant Avenue is still open, as well as the other locations in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls to serve you. A family owned company serving the freshest pizza, wings, and side items in the Niagara region. After all, Pete's Pizza is famous for freshness. Plus, they give back to the community. They take care of school lunch programs, fundraisers for churches and other events. They really do give back to the community. Pete's Pizza.
Life is not about finding yourself, folks. It's about finding pizza. Pete's Pizza.
We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Speaking of water repellent, see how this all melts together? Glow-in-the-dark condoms, dimmer switches.
Yes. Totally useless information was what we call it.
Pressure-treated wood. Well, when we were kids, my dad we would take the wooden posts and we would paint creosol on them. It was a liquid that smelt like tar. It was black as tar. It would stain your hands. It was gross as hell. And if you sniffed it enough, I think you would get stoned.
Right.
Not that I did that or recommend doing so, but 18,000 brain cells later, no. But anyway, so we would paint the creosol on. Well, later on, they find out creosol is a carcinogenic.
Oh.
And they pretty much take it off the market. Yeah, I think you could still buy it, but it is one of those things that people don't like to use.
Right.
But some scientists named Max Ruping and Cuthbert Lowry both got together and invented the same process. Now, people don't realize this when they buy pressure treated wood. It's basted in creosol, and then they put pressure on the wood to try to drain the creosol out. What is left behind is the open cells in the wood have little bits of creosol in them, so they can no longer suck up water. So instead, they repel the water.
Wow.
And thus you have pressure treated wood, which is treated with creosol, the same creosol that we can no longer buy.
Wow. Again, this is something that you don't think about until we bring it up. That's why we say to you, listen, laugh, and learn. So here's something else that repels. I guess maybe there's a theme here. It's repellent. Yes, we repel a lot of people around our worlds. Teflon. We use it every day, right? In 1938, Roy J. Plunkett, a chemist at DuPont in New Jersey, was attempting to create a new refrigerant using tetrafluoroethylene gas, TFE. But he noticed something really odd other than, boy, this smells great. After chlorinating the gas in a cylinder with dry ice, he opened the valve to release the gas, but nothing came out. But the cylinder's weight remained the same, so he was puzzled and he kept working on it. And then the gas had solidified into a polymer called polytetrafluoroethylene, or PTFE, for those of you who are keeping score, which had an amazing anti-friction, heat-resistant, and anti-corrosive properties. DuPont patented the polymer in 1941 and trademarked the name Teflon in 1945.
Wow, I didn't know that. 1945. That's a long time ago for Teflon.
It is, absolutely.
I wonder when they started using it for pans. We'll get back to everyone on that.
Probably, yes, of course.
That was a brilliant idea. If you scrape it with metal, if the Teflon goes into your food, and then you begin to glow in the dark.
Right.
Or you go to sit down on a couch. You go to sit down on a couch and you slide off.
That's right. You spill something and it doesn't stain. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. As we said, go to our website, nickandroy.com. You can do many things, one of which is leave us a message, and if we choose your message and play it on our show, you have a chance to win a commemorative 5th anniversary wooden airplane puzzle. Go to nickandroy.com, click on the Nick and Roy store. You have a chance to order a birthday message. Now, this is a unique... nowhere can you find this, right? Because that's why it's unique. A great gift for someone in your life that you want to wish them a happy birthday.
Yeah, it is amazing. Go to nickandroy.com, click on birthday messages. You'll be able to hear a sample birthday message. And trust me, if you want to buy a gift for somebody that they're going to be happy to get, we have rave reviews from everyone that's gotten one. Some have said that their parents burst out crying because it was so amazing to them. It was one of the best gifts. You have to go to nickandroy.com, listen for yourself. It's a great gift.
You go to nickandroy.com, you click on the Nick and Roy store, and you can order yours today. nickandroy.com.
Sports. Play ball.
I know how you love baseball. Roy just loves baseball. He spends many, many hours watching the great American and Canadian pastime, right?
I do not waste my time on such trivial games.
But when you are watching a game and then a player, swings at the ball and he hits the ball, but the bat breaks, into many different pieces sometimes. Sometimes it's just a splinter. And I was wondering, well, what do they do with those broken bats? And so
They make toothpicks.
close, close. They go to Japan and they make chopsticks out of them. Katabashi chopsticks.
No.
They're made by reusing damaged baseball bats and scraps of wood that are used to make bats after they've been used in professional baseball, college ball, and this and.
Oh,
the
don't even. Is that true?
It is. Aodamo wood, which is what Roy sports, used for baseball bats, which is both moderately hard and flexible, is ideal as a material for.
Everything Nick says is dirty.
That's right. Well, hey, get your mind out of the gutter. And it's ideal for material for chopsticks. So Katabashi chopsticks are made by reused damaged baseball bats.
Wow, that's a cool one. That's a good one. I think people should replay and write down.
Yes.
If you're listening on radio, go to nickandroy.com. You can hear the episode again.
Yes.
The Stanley Cup. I know you Canadians are going to love this one.
Yes.
You know what the Stanley Cup is, right, Nick?
That's right. It's the trophy when you win the hockey championship.
Right. Okay. And you've seen it, right? You know what it looks like, right?
Of course, yeah.
Do you know what it really is called? It's not even called the Stanley Cup.
No?
Do you know the actual name for it?
No.
It's printed right on it. It doesn't say Stanley Cup. It says the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup.
Of course. The Dominion
Yes.
of Canada.
It was never intended to be called the Stanley Cup. It was renamed. But the actual name of the Stanley Cup and the game that is played to win it is the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup. And it is the Dominion Hockey Challenge game, which is kind of like the Super Bowl of hockey.
Yeah, Super Bowl. It's the championship, the hockey championship. It's the great sport of
Same
hockey.
thing.
Which, by
Yeah,
the
same.
way, is not, hockey is not, here's a bonus fact, hockey is not the official sport of Canada. It's actually lacrosse.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lacrosse.
Yep, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
coconut husks. Now,
You can stutter all you want, Nick.
No, coconut husks. They're used. Some of the husks are used for artificial turf field. The first option is a mix of coconut husk and cork granules. So basically, it's like 90% coconut and 10% cork. This combination.
Wow.
Yep, this combination.
You got some good ones today, Nick.
Absolutely. Well, it's our 5th anniversary. Might as well bring out the good stuff.
It's about time. It took 5 years.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I love in one of your promos you say, well, it took 5 years. We finally got funny. That's funny. This combination may require the field to be irrigated as the coconut husk fibers can break down, causing drainage capacity to be reduced. But listen carefully, cork comes from cork trees as seen as a sustainable option. So the outer bark is harvested every 9 years. As the tree grows, it is possible to shave the outer husk or cork. This is a fantastic option for the sustainability point of view. So coconut husks and cork make up some of the material for artificial turf.
Yes, and everyone knows Nick and I are very into sustainability.
That's right.
In England, okay, the land of ridiculous laws. In England in 1457, people were very upset.
Why?
What were they upset about, you ask, Nick?
What were they upset about, Roy?
They said there's too many distractions to archery. And why aren't people doing the sport of archery? So they said, we have to do something about this. So they banned golf.
What?
They said you can no longer play the sport of golf. Pick up a bow and get going.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
Just like anything that you ban, like do not step on the grass, golf became ever more popular and eclipsed archery forever. Can you imagine that? Not enough people are playing archery as a sport, so let's ban golf. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
We recently experienced the Summer Olympics, and at the time of this recording and broadcast, so one of the sports was shot put.
Mm.
You know, it's one of the four throwing events, I think, for track and field events. Men and women use their strength and technique as an attempt to throw the heavy metal ball as far as they possibly can. So I was thinking as I was sitting there watching the Olympics, wondering, how heavy is that ball?
Mm.
So
You probably did, but okay.
yes, how heavy is it? So I found out some partial information, but in the men's competition, the ball is 16 pounds, and in the women's competitions, it's 8.8 pounds.
Wow. So it's half.
Just a little less, just almost half. Now you're wondering, and I know you were wondering this, Roy. What other
Yes,
things?
I was wondering, Nick.
Yes, you were wondering. Well, I'm telling you what you were wondering about. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were wondering, Roy, right? What other things weigh about 16 pounds?
I was wondering that. What does weigh 16 pounds, Nick?
A 40-inch LED TV, a coffee table, a pressure cooker, or a fish tank.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, a hen weigh.
What's a hen weigh?
About 3-4 pounds. I couldn't.
You know, every
visit.
once in a while, folks, I give it to Nick because I feel bad for his fact that he keeps rambling on about it.
Okay, so let's go a little bit of a history lesson here. So Roy and I met in high school 43 years ago, and Roy's family owned a restaurant, and so part of the restaurant complex was a bowling alley, and so people would call up the bowling alley and find out. Hi, the name of the place was Astor Bowling. How can I help you? And the person on the other end would ask, do you have 10-pound balls? And then
must be hard to walk.
That was the joke, right? Along the lines of from the people who brought you, hey, you call up and say, hey, is your refrigerator running? Yes. Why?
You better go catch it. Oh my God.
There you go.
I have a story for that I'll leave to another time.
Yes.
My mom has since passed away, so the telephone company can't do anything to her. But,
yes.
I'll quickly get into it. She works for the phone company. And as kids, sometimes we would go there, and they had a lounge. And at that time, if you made a long distance call or calls, your parents used to go, get off the phone. It's costing money, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So, but there were phones all over the place, and you could make calls to anybody. So me and my brother would just make prank phone calls all afternoon. Oh, the same thing like that. Is your refrigerator running? You know, but Prince Albert in a can, let him out. He can't breathe.
Right.
But anyway, okay, ready?
Okay.
You're gonna love this one because you like sports.
Yes.
Up until 1936. Okay, so it's not that long ago, but up until 1936, in basketball, every time a team made
a basket.
What do you call it?
Like
a basket.
Score.
Yes,
Yeah.
excuse me, because I hate basketball.
That's right.
Every time a team made a basket,
right,
they would go back to the center court and do a jump ball.
No.
Yes, a jump ball every time. How long did a basketball game go on for? Could you imagine?
Right.
When with 100-point basketball game, 100 to 100, that's 200 baskets.
Wow.
No, actually, no, it's 2 points, 2 points to 3 points, but still,
yeah,
it's still 100 baskets roughly. How many times you're going to go back to center court and do a jump ball? The game would go on forever. So can you believe that? Up until 1936.
So if that's the case, then let's start over again. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Total.
No, I won't do that. I go right to the beginning. Treadmills. Have you ever been on a treadmill?
Have you seen me, Nick? No, I've never been on a treadmill.
Yeah. I usually, what I call a treadmill is a Stairmaster because I stare at it all day.
My idea of exercise is getting off the couch and going to the fridge.
Right, exactly. Back in 1818, an engineer named Sir William Cubitt introduced the tread wheel, which was made especially for prison inmates. They would walk on the treadwheel to produce kinetic energy, which would operate the grain mills and water pumps. So they used the kinetic energy from these prisoners, right? They're spent doing time, might as well make themselves useful. But you see, many of the inmates had to walk on the treadwheel for as long as 8 hours. And between that and their awful diets, many of them were too weak to walk for so long. As a result, many fell and injured themselves, and in a way, the treadmill became a form of brutal punishment. But in 1818, he
Just
came.
like it is today.
That's right, 100%. And
But
so
nowadays, the morons pay memberships to do it.
that's right, exactly, to produce kinetic energy in order for you to pay for the darn membership. Wow.
I've often said to myself, why don't they let the people in these workout places who pay memberships to get on that treadmill, why don't they hook them up to generators and generate the electricity in the place, the lighting and stuff, to generate that from the treadmills?
Yep. There you go.
Somebody should think about that one and then cut me into 10%.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, get ready. This is Scotland.
Yes.
Okay, so get ready for this one. Golf and football, which of course in Europe is soccer.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. In 14, now get ready, they banned golf and soccer. In 1457, they banned it in 1471, and again in 1491. So every 20 years, they banned football and golf. I would assume, I can understand the golf, because running around a soccer field in a kilt could expose your shillelagh, if you know what I mean. But golf, then again, if you forgot your putter and it's a short putt and you got a kilt on, boop.
We're going to leave it at that before they pull our license. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. As we celebrate 5 years of uselessness, we thank you very much for your support. We're in over 75 different countries. We're on the radio coast to coast to coast on the iHeartRadio Talk Network. We're all over North America, 75 countries, like I mentioned. We're even in countries where they don't even understand any part of the English language, but then again, neither do we. People have asked us if we use AI. I'm like, no, we use no intelligence at all, artificial or otherwise, so stop it. Although, I'm going to do
We're
this.
so backwards, we use IA.
Which is what?
I don't know.
So this is what we're going to do. So I will actually, the one time, and I'll tell you when that episode's coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask AI actually to write a short script of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, and let's see what AI comes up with, and you and I will read that. This will be the only time that you and I will share the same information. I will send you the script, and then we're going to act out like a play, the AI version of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Wall Street, Bay Street, NASDAQ, Hang Seng, loonies, toonies, dollars, and yens. This is On the Money with Nick and Roy.
All right, so we've heard the expression laughing all the way to the bank. I know we're doing money, not expressions, but, laughing all the way to the bank, it has to do with money, right? So you're thinking, well, wait a minute. What does it have to do with money? What does it have to do with the expression? Well, in 1953, a Chicago music critic gave the famous pianist Liberace a pretty rough time. The critic overlooked the fact that Liberace had enjoyed a sellout crowd every time. After reading this bitter attack, Liberace said, "You know what? My manager and I laughed all the way to the bank because he made so much money." And therefore, he coined that phrase, laughing all the way to the bank. And now, of course, it's used in business all the time, or advertisers say, hey, we did so well, we laughed all the way to the bank.
Wow. That I see. You never know where these things come from.
That's right.
And that was that. Okay. The first human image to be placed on currency was in 44 BC.
Oh.
Yes, before Christ, 44 BC. After winning a major battle for Rome, Julius Caesar commissioned an artist to put a portrait of himself on a stamp so that he could stamp the coins with his own image.
Wow.
44 BC.
That's a long, long time ago. And you know what? I don't remember that.
You were there, Nick. So how was it?
I don't remember a thing.
Nick and Roy will continue with Totally Useless Information.
It's time to gear up for fall with cool fashions, cooler weather, and a very cool Kensington market. Hello, this is Cool Nick and Cool Roy for Tom's Place.
I like the way you did that.
That's right. Where the cool guys in Toronto shop.
So check out the latest fall fashions that have just arrived. And hey, it's Tom's Place. So even the new arrivals are on sale. Fall colors, new patterns, fresh designs, designer suits, including the new arrivals that retail up to $800, start at only $179 at Tom's Place. So check out the fabulous collection of S. Cohen and other designer suits, regularly $650. For our listeners of the radio show and the podcast, $375. You heard it right there, slash to $375.
Wow. Pick out a couple of sports jackets while you're at it. Dress up for the office or down for the weekend, or a wool top coat for 50% off on our first floor. Plus, designer dress or casual pants, only $99, because as you know, Roy wears pants casually. Or casually, wait a minute, yeah, that's right. Plus designer dress or casual pants, only $99.
My pants are pretty much like Tom's Place. They're half off. Play it cool at Tom's Place like we do at Tom's Place, 190 Baldwin Street in the Kensington Market. Visit Tom's at toms-place.com. That's TOMS-place.com.
Tom's Place will suit you.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Kiss me, you fool.
Oh, no, I will not.
No. So they found out that husbands who kiss their wives or significant other, they make 20 to 35% more money and use less sick time than their peers who left with no goodbye kiss.
Oh.
Okay. So in the same study, a sampling of Germany's top 110 industrial managers.
Deutschland.
I knew you were going to do that. That's why I paused. So it showed that 87% who left home after kissing their wives saw an increase in pay and held their management positions. So it's even more effective in Germany. So the moral of the story is, kiss your significant other before you leave to go to work. You might just make more money.
You want to win a wooden airplane, go to nickandroy.com.
It's a wooden airplane puzzle. Go to nickandroy.com. You click on the recording, and you're just halfway down the webpage. You click on it. You leave us a 5th anniversary message, and if we choose your message, we'll send you an authentic, commemorative wooden airplane puzzle, which is basically it sort of symbolizes the pilot episode. Get it? Plane, pilot. And it's our 5th anniversary here.
Just the simple fact that we have to explain it this far.
Right. Exactly.
Here we go. Get a pencil, a wooden pencil.
That's right.
Because my next fact, you're going to want to write down. I love, love, love this one.
Okay.
The Old English used a type of clay which they called pig, P-Y-G-G. They called it pig. It's a certain type of clay that they would use to make plates and jars. And of course, they would come home and they would take their shillings or pound coins and throw them into the jars. Well, eventually, they'd say, put it in the pig bank.
Oh, the piggy bank.
And this is where it eventually transforms into the piggy bank, which was the same clay used to form a pig to place the money into. Thus, the piggy bank. I love that one.
I love that. Put lipstick on that one. So we know the great multi-billionaire Warren Buffett. He's a legendary investor and
we know him personally.
That's right. Oh yeah, we borrowed $20 from him. Now we owe him $98.50. The legendary investor and self-made billionaire, multi-billionaire actually, filed his first income tax at the age of 13. He reported revenue from a newspaper delivery job. And by the way, in that income tax return, he claimed a deduction of $35 for his bicycle.
Oh my God, that is great.
There you go.
That's great. Okay, ATMs, right?
Yes.
We all know it, right?
Yes.
This is this is a three-fer. I call this a three-fer because you're getting 3 facts for the price of 1. Yeah, this is what I call a Togo. 3 for the price of 1, not a BOGO. Okay. ATMs, we all know what they are, right?
Yep.
Automatic teller machines.
That's right.
How many do you think there are in the world, Nick?
100,000.
1.6 million ATM machines around the world.
Wow.
There's even an ATM machine in Antarctica where there's very few people. There's an ATM machine.
Wow.
Talk about putting a freeze on your money, but
Yes.
okay. The average amount drawn, how much you think is the average amount drawn from an ATM machine?
$20.
80.
Oh.
$80.
Wow.
I thought that was high. I was going to say what you said, 20, 50 maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But
yeah.
80 is the average. Do you use ATM machines?
No, actually, rarely now, but I used to a while ago, a few years ago I did, but now no, not as much. But let me go
You
back.
know, I have never used one, and I do not own a debit card.
That's right. You mentioned that, I think, in our last episode. Now, let me ask you this about the ATM in Antarctica. Do they only shell out cold, hard cash? That's what I want to know.
It comes out in the shape of cubes.
That's right. No, don't you remember one of the episodes? That's how wombats poop, in cubes.
Yeah. In fact, as the money's coming out, it goes, let it go.
Let it go. You talk about taking money out of the ATM. How about making it crisp? How to make a bill crisp? You iron it. Okay, so if you got a creased, crumpled, or
Can
wrinkled,
you iron Canadian money? It's got plastic in it.
well, it is. This is more but U.S. because it's actually fabric, right? U.S. dollars are generally made about 75% cotton and 25% linen. So to iron the money, you dampen the dollar bill slightly with a little spritz bottle. Okay, set the iron to low heat. That's important. Put a towel under the bill and on top of the bill. Then iron the money in a circular motion. You set aside to air dry, and bingo! You should have a nice, flattened, crisp bill.
By that time, Nick and I would have spent it.
Absolutely.
Which overspending brings me to my last of the show. This clue, this fact, is going to blow people's minds because I love this too. I had two really good ones for this. The word bankrupt. Where does it come from? And I love it because it comes from Italy. And the Italian word was banca rota. Banca rota. Okay? Now, the Italian bankers of the time would go into the piazzas or the big open squares. They would put the bench down and sit on the bench, and people would walk over to them and say, "Can I borrow $10?" And they would loan them $10. But when the banker no longer had any money, it was said that don't go to him because he's a banca rota.
Maybe that's where the expression "I'm broke" came from. Maybe.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Right?
Banca.
Yeah.
I'm broke.
Banca Shane. Last week we did a tease on the very first tease that we did in our very first episode. We never really answered those questions, and that's intentional because we wanted you to find out. So someone emailed me, they say, wait a minute, you had a tease, like I think you had something about how many pounds of skin do people shed in their lifetime, and I talked about a remedy of jellyfish if it gets stung. So I will play the audio from the very first episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy to answer those questions.
The human will shed how many pounds of skin over a lifetime?
That sounds disgusting.
Common dust around your house is mostly made up of human skin that was dried up and fell off your body. But over a lifetime, a human will shed 40 disgusting pounds of skin.
40 pounds. So someone sat there and collected all of the skin, and they weighed them.
I knew that was weird that little person was following me around the whole time, you know?
All right, true or false? If you are stung by a jellyfish, this is my teaser. If you're stung by a jellyfish, the best remedy is to pee on it. True or false?
I hope not. I would say true because I've heard that people do that.
The answer is false. No, not only is this not an effective treatment, but scientists have found it can worsen the sting, so don't do it. According to the Cleveland Clinic, the proper way to treat a jellyfish sting is with hot water, not urine.
So you're at the beach. Somebody says, I got stung by a jellyfish. You run over, you pull your bathing suit down, and you start to urinate on them. Why?
No.
Why? Why would anyone do that? I would punch them.
You're in for a real rude awakening.
Hey, speaking
Yeah.
of cool, you can send us an email. Go to our website, nickandroy.com.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
I opened up the mailbag and found Stuart.
Oh, hello, Stuart.
Boy, was I shocked. No. It was a heavy mailbag. I found Stuart. He's from Pensacola, Florida. And Stuart says, I want to thank you and Nick for the best birthday ever. We did a birthday message, and you remember it with the guy Stuart?
Yeah.
And he said, how did you guys get the information that you got that was so personal to me? And I'll let people in on it. When people order these birthday messages, we ask them a lot of questions so that we can tailor the birthday message specifically and personally to that person. So Stuart says, I really, really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It was the best gift I've ever gotten. You guys are great. Keep up the show and keep up the good work.
Wow.
Yes, Stuart, thank you, man.
Thank you very much. That's right. Go to nickandroy.com, click on the Nick and Roy store to order yours as well. Eileen from Barnaby, BC, so a fellow Canadian. Dear Nick and Roy, happy 5th anniversary. Thank you. We love listening to your show every week. We laugh so much that we have to rewind your show several times an episode in order for us to hear the fact over again and the jokes that you make. So you guys are hilarious. Here's my question. We recently got married, and we're wondering, well, congratulations, Eileen, and your whoever you married to, right? We recently got married. We're wondering, when was the first wedding ring worn? Thank you.
Ooh.
And keep us laughing. Well, Eileen, again, congratulations on your nuptials. And just a tip from Nick, from myself.
Don't talk about what they're doing, Nick, personally.
No, I'm just going to give them some advice. You
meant what they said at the wedding.
No.
I didn't hear that.
In 5 years, you know what to give each other, because Roy and I gave each other what the gift is.
She should receive wood on the first anniversary.
On the 5th. On the 5th. You got to wait 5 years. Sounds like our timeline right now after so many years of marriage, every 5 years. Okay, wedding rings date back to thousands of years. The ancient Romans and Egyptians both believed that a vein called vena amoris ran directly from the ring finger to the heart. And that's why you wear your wedding ring on your ring finger, which is, apparently, according to those Romans and Egyptians, it's a vein that ran directly from your ring finger to the heart.
You've answered their question, Nick. Thank you.
You're welcome. On the show today, we talked about inventions, we talked about sports, we talked about money, we looked back at the first episode, answered some questions. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
A 33-year-old man posted himself to the house of his ex-partner in Heerenveen and been sentenced to 4 months for stalking.
What?
He basically mailed himself in a box and mailed himself to his ex-girlfriend's place. The delivery took place in May and was the culmination of a series of incidents following the breakup of the couple's 1-year anniversary, including the theft of her keys, trespassing, and placing a tracker in her home. The man told the magistrate that having himself delivered in a box was the only way to get in and get my stuff back.
Yeah.
When he emerged from the box, the woman claims, he threatened her with a gun. He then took off.
She said, what is that? Is that apple juice in that jug next to you?
That's why my teacher, I said he absolutely positively had to be there overnight.
I can't believe the man put himself in a box.
That's right, and delivered.
And mailed himself.
That's right.
So basically, as the lawyer type person that I am and skeptic, I want to know who was in on it with him, because somebody had to seal the box. Correct?
That's true. That's right. Well,
so he had to have some culprits with him.
Well, let's see. So when he got there, he took off with the keys to the house. No weapon was found, but the prosecutor said he did steal the keys as well as a couple other things, and wrote a social media account in her name, or created a social media account in her name. Well, this guy's evil, man. The woman placed the camera in her home after the incident with the box showed up with the box when. So she already put a camera in her home. Then this box showed up with the man had turned up in her house 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times he delivered himself there.
This guy paid a lot of postage, I would think. I mean, he's got to weigh what, 175, 200, right? So this is a big box.
During one of the visits,
did she think she was receiving refrigerators all the time?
Exactly. And in one of the visits, this clown placed a tracker behind the cooker. So the man claimed the woman had given permission for the visits and that the keys were given to him earlier, but that's nothing. But that's all lies.
So he put the tracker behind the stove?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the magistrate was
That's a stupid thing. When she went to bake a cake, the tracker got burnt up.
So these actions did not impress the magistrate, who agreed to the prosecutor's demand of 4 months in jail, a 3-year restraining order, and, yeah.
4 months in jail, but he broke out of jail by mailing himself back to the girlfriend's house.
That's right. You know what? The idiot, he had a self-addressed stamped envelope. That's all the time we have on this week's episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Thank you very much. We will scour the internet and other sources to find out totally useless information just for you.
And until then, don't forget our wonderful sponsors. And we will see you next week with some more totally useless information.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy has been brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion. Located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. And by Pete's Pizza, celebrating 40 years serving the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area. Pete's Pizza. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about finding pizza. If you're hungry, visit petespizzaniagara.ca.